Hi Nathan, how you doing?
Phew. You know, I was gonna give you the filler. Oh, I'm great, but that's kind of a lie after
Yeah.
watching Resident Evil. Um,
Which Resident Evil did you watch?
technically, my first chapter.
The first chapter.
Semantically, the final chapter.
Right.
So, so about a month ago, maybe a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
you were kind of like, "Hey, I'm thinking of going through the Resident Evil movies," and then all of a sudden, the letterboxd reviews started pouring in, confirming that you were underway. So,
Right. What prompted
what
this?
were you thinking?
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
I wasn't. No, I think Return to Silent Hill was so bad. I was like, maybe I'm gonna go back to Resident Evil. Maybe. Some of those aren't so bad. I remember watching like the first couple animated ones, and I remember them being a little dull, but all right. And then there was I remember the first Paul W. S. Anderson one being like fun. I remember a couple of those being goofy. I never expected anything to be good. I just
Yeah,
want to make that clear.
I would hope not.
But yeah, it's a sick thing. It's not a healthy thing what we're doing here. I acknowledge that. I'm glad you're here as my support system. But yeah, so we came. There was this. The reason we're starting with the final chapter is that I was like, I'm not gonna watch the final chapter unless it's with pretty much you. Like, there's nobody else I
Yeah,
can really trust to let in
I
that
appreciate
that
that,
deep.
but also,
Also-
goddamn,
yeah. And so then you had the idea of, well, let's just watch the final chapter, and then I was like, ooh, here's an even more messed up idea. Nathan, having no context, will watch the final chapter, which will
Yeah.
be the only one I haven't seen, and that'll be the first one he's seen, and then we'll just go backwards.
Well, see, the funny thing is, I thought that you were going to proceed as usual, so I was very surprised when you were
Yeah.
like, "Hey, let's watch it today." Days after we had discussed it, because I was like, I think you still have like 4 or 5 movies before you're there, but you have watched them previously.
Yeah, I watched the first 5, so that was like
Decade
oh 02 to
ago?
2012, yeah.
Yeah,
And then this one popped out like 4 years later.
yeah.
2016, which makes sense because it was the point where I was like, I don't need that shit in my life anymore.
See, it's very funny because I want to say like a year or two ago, I think possibly because I had revisited the first Silent Hill, I was kind of like, what about these other ones? And I was like, I know there's like Underworld and Resident Evil, so I went
Yeah.
through the Underworld series.
Oof.
I don't think I made it to the last couple. I think I might have dipped at 3
Yeah, you definitely watched Rise of the Lycans or whatever that one is.
because I was like, oh, this one's really great because it's not Kate Beckinsale.
That's the prequel.
It's the prequel.
It's the one even Underworld fans will tell you this is the best one.
It's because what's his name? The guy that everyone thinks is Simon Pegg, but it's actually Charlie. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
he's like a minor character in like the
Yeah.
first and or second, but then he's kind of
Yeah.
like the main in the.
Well, it's interesting.
cool.
Yeah, like Underworld, Ultraviolet, Resident Evil. I know I forget like Blood Rain's like the Asylum level.
Yeah,
But these kind of early 2000s female-led action, Aeon Flux with Charlize Theron. So this is just the one series that got to 6 fucking movies. So props for that, I guess.
yeah. It's kind of that baffling thing.
Yeah.
It's you look at something like Resident Evil and you go, well, how did this make it this far? But then if you go back, for all the mega fans out there that I know there are, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
How did that do it?
That's got
back in
12
the 80s,
movies.
This
Yeah.
so I would say this is kind of like the early 2000s equivalent, where it's like, do we need more than one? Probably not.
There's, actually, I remember like vaguely like Sal saying, "Oh, the third one's the best one,"
Oh, okay.
and the third one's directed by Russell Mulcahy, who did Highlander 1 and 2. So we'll see.
Maybe that's their Friday the 13th Part 6, where they accidentally
real
made a
movie.
real movie.
Yeah. I'm waiting.
Amidst all the schlock.
I want to believe, going back, because again, I haven't seen Well, I recently watched 1.
Yeah.
So I have revisited 1, which was nice for... It was probably the best way to experience the final chapter is to just watch the first one and then skip to this, because you miss a lot of the bullshit that occurs.
Yeah.
In terms of retcons. But, so I haven't seen 2 through 5 for probably a decade or more. But I'm sure at least one of these can be considered a real movie. I think of 6 movies. One of them's got to be one where, even if it's dumb or ridiculous, it's like, but I had a good time with that,
Yeah, because so when before we came up with this of going backwards from the end, did you have a specific mentality of how you were going through it? Because I know you did like the animated ones that I assume are more in line with the games.
Yeah, the animated ones are considered canon to the games.
Okay.
Having seen, I think right now, as of now, I've caught up on all. So essentially, and I think 2008, the first one, Degeneration, came out. 2012, Damnation or whatever came out, and then they released 2 more movies and a Netflix miniseries, which is really just a movie chopped up into 4 episodes.
Sure.
So I've caught up on all the animated stuff now.
Nice.
And there's I have to go back to the first 2 that I've seen, but the Vendetta, that one is kind of the Advent Children, where it's like, this one is just fun.
Yeah.
This one's, the action's insane. This is the good one. The rest of them are kind of dull. It's very interesting how the kind of ones that are akin to the games, they seem to be more, usually more focused on being serious.
Yeah.
And the Paul W.S. Anderson is where it focuses more on being over the top and crazy. So, yeah, that was okay at best.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right, that's like a 2.5 stars. And I was like, maybe I'll go through them, but I don't really want to go through all of them necessarily, right away. So I was like, well, I'll just watch the ones I haven't seen. And so that prompted watching the other animated ones, and then now watching the final chapter with you. But now I kind of feel like I have to go back through and watch all of them. But seeing them in reverse order might provide a different experience than straight up just going normally because of what the series is quality-wise. So
yeah, it's certainly going to be a very unique perspective, because I'm going in almost completely blind. Like we kind of discussed before, I've seen a video essay on Resident Evil 7, and I played the 2 remake for like a couple hours. Mostly in passenger seat.
Right.
But so I don't have any conception of Resident Evil other than like Leon and those who's not really prevalent, because the Paul W. Anderson movies are like,
it's so
we're just doing our own thing.
It's so funny how they literally took an IP and then they just use it as a playground to kind of just whatever we feel like doing.
Yeah.
Screw the games.
It's baffling. It's a very interesting decision.
I mean, because you look at, for example, say, kind of the current gold standard of video game movies, the Sonic trilogy. Those at least try to hew much more closely to game lore, and the fans like that.
Yeah.
It's not saying it automatically makes a video game movie better to be lore accurate, but, it is interesting how, in Assassin's Creed, the movie, not that I'm ever going back to that, but there's this one scene where it's like, oh, those 3 characters are, from the games.
Yeah.
Our protagonist is not from the games, but those 3 background, this doctor, Jeremy Irons, he's from the games.
I just remember that the leap of faith, which is like a meme mechanic in the games, is incredibly story relevant for that movie.
Yes.
Which is an interesting choice. But it is interesting how it's Sonic, to my understanding, again, I'm not super familiar with the games, but it is kind of finding that middle ground where it's being primarily set on modern day Earth, where he's interacting with, this small town, but it's on these other worlds they're coming in that have more of a touchstone with game lore. And then so these animated Resident Evil games are straight up like, oh, you would watch this after playing this game, like it's fully canon.
This is the bridge to this between these two games. These are what the characters are up to.
Yeah.
The Paul W.S. Anderson movies, I'm going off memory, but I think pretty much only the second movie is in any way an adaptation of a specific game. That's 2 games.
Sure.
But the rest of the movies are more, we'll take moments, characters, but they're not our protagonists,
Umbrella Corporation is evil, and there's a virus.
Wesker's there.
Yeah.
He's the main reason I'm watching. I will say that what I really want to get to is the 4th movie, because that's the big Wesker movie.
Okay, all right.
And that is the movie that rips off The Matrix the most.
Good. Well, I'm glad that's only 2 away from me.
Right. You don't gotta wait until
I don't have to watch 3 movies before that.
Yeah, no, we get a good amount of Wesker, and I forget how much he's in the 5th movie, but he's in the 4th movie quite a lot, and then he might be in another movie. I'm not gonna. Anyway, so let's stop avoiding it. The final chapter. The funniest thing happened before we began, just to kind of set the stage. Like Nathan said, he's vaguely familiar with Leon Kennedy. And so he had found out, he got spoiled that Leon is in the 5th movie and then just dies off screen. And then we start final chapter and he's like, oh, it's a zombie series? Which is just so, he's like, well, it makes sense because if you're playing 2, Mr. X is more of like a vaguely mutated character. He's not really a zombie-ish character, so it makes sense that but that's just the funniest thing. Like Resident Evil, this is about zombies.
I thought it was more a monster movie.
Right.
Because with 7, it's like weird mutated Southern family in an Evil Dead cabin, and then from the little I saw, I guess there are zombies in 2. I don't remember it that well, but
that's fine.
But I was I assumed it was more like when I envisioned Resident Evil monsters, I thought of the Thanos aliens in Infinity War, like the multi-limbed, black-legged teeth face thing,
Well, it's funny you mention that, because we kind of get that at the start with first we get a prologue summing up the entire series. And explaining that Dr. Marcus, his daughter had progeria, whatever that is.
Yeah, real bad.
She was going to be 90 when she was 15 or something.
Yeah.
And he created the T virus to save her, but unfortunately it had a side effect that creates zombies. And then Ian Glenn, Dr. Isaacs, killed him in a very funny scene where he's meeting with Dr. Marcus and then says like, oh yeah, so I don't need you anymore. And then he's like, Wesker. And then Wesker takes a plastic bag and just strangles him. And
see, I love that he like gives him a chance, because he's pretty much just like, hey, no, like, I want the world to die. But, like, are you in? And he's like, no. He's like, that sucks. And then he gets the bag thrown over his head, and then right around the corner is his daughter coming downstairs.
Your dad and I are having a little chat. Go back upstairs.
Very conveniently can't hear the horrific choking, dying gasps.
It is strange that the movie doesn't... I guess it kind of leaves it open. Did she see? Did she not see? But clearly she didn't, because she doesn't really... She's not really anti-Isaacs until she's aged into an old woman, so it's very strange.
Yeah.
It's more of like a tragic irony, I suppose.
Perhaps I would know more if I had watched the first 5 films.
Well, don't worry. Maybe you'll be informed as to the,
There we go.
But
the culmination of her arc.
The Alice project.
Yeah, maybe at the end of the 5th movie is when old lady clone original is gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna fuck you up, and then
this is the best part, because you don't know what's actually just shit thrown out into this movie and what's been set up.
I have a sense. I have my suspicions. And,
again, the ominous thing about the final chapter, the reason I avoided it for years is that people who said, hey, do you like that cliffhanger in the 5th movie, Retribution? They totally don't do anything with it. It's off screen, and then it just kind of pretends like it never happened.
That's
even
great.
Even fans of the Paul W.S. Anderson movies are like, the final chapter sucks.
Damn.
So that's kind of scary.
I mean, that again sounds like a similar trajectory as Underworld kind of way, where the first movie you set up the hybrid, the ultimate life form, and then he barely does fuck all in 2, and then 3 is a prequel, he's not there, and then 4 and 5 they're like, oh, by the way, the apocalypse has happened now.
Right.
Maybe he's still alive, but he's gone. And it's like, okay.
The only thing I remember from the first Underworld is Bill Nighy as the villain, and he gets the top of his head shot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
He gets to sword fight a little bit.
A little, yeah.
Before pirates,
He gets kind of that. He gets that Twilight vampire thing where he's like, I'm so old, like, I'm ready. It's time. But
speaking of flying bat things, the opening of this movie features Mad Max Alice in the wasteland of the real, and giant bat demon monsters are attacking her.
Yeah, so maybe I'll find out in the first 5 films.
Isn't it so fun where you're like, maybe I'll find out?
Yeah, but is the giant bat creature thing, is that a sick person? Is that a sick bat that grew because of the T virus?
So from what I understand, so that being said, from what I understand, Umbrella, being an evil corporation, is not content enough to just release the T virus. Well, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but this movie retcons and says Umbrella wanted the virus to get out.
Oh, okay.
Because they want the rich people to live and everyone else to die.
Sure.
That was what is revealed in the board meeting scene. But I guess they're not content enough to just, let's go with that narrative, because that's the movie we're in.
Yeah.
They're not just content enough to have people become zombies and spread a plague. They also need to bioengineer giant bat creatures.
Okay.
To help speed up. Because they're like in cryostasis.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So the final chapter.
Yeah.
It gets established to us, and I'm jumping around a little bit, so forgive me. Classic episode of 24 with the ticking clock. We in 48 hours, the last of humanity is going to get blown up.
Right.
There's 4,400 people left, but they're all going to die.
Right, so there's 2 threats. There's the encroaching zombies, so you need the antivirus that's in the hive but also the Red Queen is programmed to kill people.
Yes.
So.
But she doesn't want to.
Right.
But she has to, because she's programmed to. But she's not programmed to keep company secrets.
Yes.
It's fully above board if she contacts a known enemy of Umbrella Corporation and tells her all the information she would need to stop them.
I also love how the Red Queen monitors the entire planet, but she can't find out who the mole is in Alice's team, and Alice has to figure that out.
I also love that Umbrella Corporation was nice enough to give everyone a chance. Like, they know where all the bases are. They have it marked out. This is where we're going to blow it up. We're going to wait. And
for no reason.
And the other thing is, like, especially with this being the 6th movie, it's completely and utterly arbitrary, because now we're like, what are we, like 10 years into post-apocalypse? And it's like, hey,
it has to be something
2 more
like
days,
that.
and then our plan's finished. And it's
it had. I mean, I don't know the timeline of the movies extremely well, but it has to, like, okay, this is in real time 15 years since the T virus broke out.
And he said that it was 10 years since they made Alice clone. Spoilers.
So, it has to be at least, like, 9 years, like, at the minimum.
I would have thought you want to do that quicker. Like,
well, it's almost like in previous movies they didn't establish that Umbrella wanted the infection to get out.
Yeah.
Because then that just... Anyway,
you would think it would make more sense if it was a big oopsie daisy, I would have been happier if it's like, hey... some people kind of saw this coming, so here's the weird rich people that froze themselves away.
Yeah.
Instead of it being the corporate mandate that we're ready to go.
I do love that scene of the corporate board meeting of, so the world's fucked. How do we keep exploiting the world? Oh, I know. Let's just end the world prematurely, and then global warming will be taken care of, and plastics, it'll be fine.
I do feel like they should have programmed in a more definite endpoint for the zombies, because I don't know, but there's only 4,400 people left, and there's hordes.
This is what's so weird. So the movie makes no sense, because if they know where the human settlements are, let's say 200 people survive. Yeah. You're telling me that that's going to be a hampering on you need it completely clean of people? You're worried a few people will be driving BMWs while you're defrosting? So if they have the location of the human resistance, and they have troops, some troops.
Yeah.
Why not just release the antivirus now, and then just bomb them immediately, and then it's all taken care of?
Or I mean, because I don't know how many Richies there are. There was a whole Star Wars prequels Senate Coliseum of them.
Yeah.
But 4,400 people, from a rich person's perspective, you need the laborers still.
I guess they'll just have the Red Queen do everything.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That's a choice. What are you gonna do about the giant bat monsters?
I guess it will go in the air and hit them.
Oh, right, because I guess...
Yes.
I guess it... Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. So Ian Glenn has the cure that's gonna wipe out everything affected with the T-virus.
Yeah. Yes.
But he's content to not release it and then bomb everyone. So it isn't part of their plan to use that to wipe out all the zombies. They're just just gonna wait out the zombie. I don't know.
I don't understand. What is the point of them stopping Alice from releasing the antivirus? There's no point. It's at some point you're gonna have to release it.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the thing here?
These don't seem to be 28 days later zombies, where eventually they're gonna starve to death again. There's 4,400 people left, and armies of zombies. They haven't eaten in a while, I'm sure.
Right.
So
I think in Resident Evil they don't starve, or they kind of do.
Yeah.
It's so much slower. It's takes 10 years. To start to, I don't know.
But you got enough that are able to run down a tank going approximately 25 miles an hour.
Let's talk about the important part of this is your perspective, being blind.
Yeah.
So how does the unfolding of the movie, filmmaking wise and story wise, hit you? You get this brief bit of a kid going, and then he's a zombo.
I was very surprised that I was watching a zombie movie. I was waiting for monsters, but then monsters show up, so it's a mixed bag. I think it also hadn't fully locked in that this was Mila Jovovich franchise again. I think because for years I conflated Underworld and Resident Evil. I was like, it's Kate Beckinsale. I don't know if that's better, but
that's I don't mean to hate, but I think Kate Beckinsale is a little bit better. I mean Van Helsing.
Exactly. Yeah. At the very least, she's British. So,
adds a bit of adds a bit.
Yeah.
You didn't like Mila Jovovich as old lady makeup as Hillary Clinton?
I'd be very for longtime fans of the Resident Evil film series. Was it satisfying to have her play two characters against themselves? Is Mila Jovovich part of the draw for Resident Evil fandom?
Yeah, I mean, I was being kind of sarcastic, but I do think that for certain pockets of people, this series is a female power fantasy story.
Sure.
I'm not saying they like all of the films equally, but clearly that is part of why it had a unique niche that it...
Sure.
Because, I mean, I'm not saying that it's like the whole series is automatically better than all those other female-led action franchises, but either through the will of Paul W.S. Anderson or the fact that this specific formula of zombies plus Mila Jovovich doing cool stuff, riding the high of the Matrix, it managed to last for 6 films.
It's true.
Before rebooting, so
maybe I'll have more of an appreciation for it in the earlier films, because you know one of the big hampers on this movie is the editing.
It's so bad.
Yeah,
so bad.
It is that, and I suspect that this is the case. Like, I don't know for sure. But it is a little bit of that taken editing where, Liam Neeson as a, 55-plus-year-old action hero is able to jump over a fence. However, it does take 12 to 13 shots from different angles, quick cut it all together in order to show that.
But he didn't use a stunt double. And he didn't hurt his knees. So, it worked out. And this is, I feel, the approach they also took with Mila Jovovich. I don't know if the stunt work is a little too intensive for her now. I don't know if they were doing that for style. The thing about it, though, is that there are, like, wide shots where you see things clearly, and that mirrors the earlier films where they do more wire work and more stunt work, but then the editor just chooses to intercut all the quick stuff so that it's really intense. And because it seems to me, like you were pointing out, this movie, the Resident Evil films are all just channeling everything about the early 2000s. And this is 2016, and they're still saying, what was the last good year for movies? 2009. So Terminator Salvation is the best movie of all time. That seems to be the mindset, is like anything from 1999 to 2009, that's where they think the best era of movies is. There's a lot of great movies there, but yeah, Terminator Salvation was the last great action movie in the mind of the final chapter.
That's a bold claim. Yeah. That's a bold take. God bless them for committing to ripping that off. I guess I don't think there's a lot of Terminator Salvation clones out there. So
no, it did seem to me it was a year after Fury Road.
Yeah,
there was probably a little bit of that, but.
Like, it's, I guess there is kind of one long chase. It's just done kind of shitty. I don't know, I don't know why she crashes twice in the span of a half hour.
The funny thing is that this is the thing that amuses me sometimes about time clock movies, is they give themselves so much time, and then they cut so much of it out, so when you get to the end, it's like, that was 5 minutes, 2 minutes has passed. You had so much time to, like, to fill out from the clock. So yeah, they had to knock her out twice to cut down, because they're like, 400 miles really isn't, like, it's not that much.
Yeah.
Like, it's a while, but, I mean, in a day, you can go 400 miles,
Yeah, because, so my understanding of all the times we check in with the ticking clock, this is how the movie is paced out. She meets with the Red Queen, gets given her main objective for the film. You got 48 hours to go. Exactly 48 hours from now, starting now, and she puts it on her smartwatch, and it's going. Then 12 hours later, she's 500 miles away from Raccoon City when she runs into a booby-trapped umbrella Ducati, where there are, in fact, there's a small squadron of umbrella thugs that try to catch her. They use the I Am Legend trap where she's strung up by her leg.
I did sense some I Am Legend in this as well.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Tiny bit.
They didn't have the budget to show off, like, notable landmarks that had been decayed and destroyed outside of the Washington Monument. But yeah, so she takes them out, but then she gets caught anyway. But luckily, they're on their way to Raccoon City anyway.
Yes.
So then,
imagine if he had gone the other direction. She would have been screwed.
She would have been really screwed. But luckily, over the course of 18 hours, they get within 70 miles of Raccoon City. and then what is it? We have 20. So we got 20 hours left.
Yes.
And then she escapes and drives away, and I think it takes her another 5 hours.
Yeah, it's like a 5-hour jump
to get to Raccoon City, which 72 miles in 5 hours.
That's pretty bad
on a sports bike.
I guess if like the roads are clogged with vehicles, you have to.
That's fair.
Have to bob and weave a bit more.
They cut out all the parts where she had to like get
she
out.
Had to, like, go on the off road and walk.
We got plenty of zooming shots.
I really want to see the editing that is applied to the action scenes, but just her walking like off the road shows like the same step twice. It's like
yeah, you get the close up shot of a boot hitting the sand and then like part of the wheel turning, and it's like look at this.
Look at how she's walking.
Oh shit, she has to go around a whole bus now, and it's like
yeah. And we've established over the course of this journey that Dr. Isaacs, who is one of the heads of Umbrella Corporation, he's now become a seeming religious zealot who has a knife, and he likes to stab people, and he is trying to bring like holy judgment to the world.
Well, yeah, and
for some reason.
Not only that, he has 2 knives because he opened up his locker, and amidst all the hanging crosses, there were 2 knives. He grabbed one of them that said, "Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord."
I wonder what the other one said.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh Jesus!
That was the template knife that he didn't have time to get engraved on Etsy before the world ended.
The last engraver passed away.
Exactly.
He's very sad.
Yeah, they still have the waxer and buffer for their Umbrella Ducatis, but.
And again, I don't want to spoil things, but it's very clear that Ian Glenn, this is 2016. What happened in the intervening years between the last movie and now? 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, so he's got to get a nice, juicy role here.
Yeah, so is he pretty small cameo in previous movies?
So remember, Alice reveals, "I killed you," and he's like,
yeah.
"No, that was my clone."
Yeah.
So I won't say what movie it's in, but he has a major role in at least one movie, and he's in 2 other ones for sure.
That's fair. I'll wait until we get to it, because I don't want to ask. I have a nagging suspicion that the concept of cloning and clones and things are not particularly prevalent to the series up until this point.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil that.
So I'm going to assume that when she kills Ian Glenn in one of the other movies, it's going to feel pretty like cathartic. Hey,
yeah.
We beat the big bad.
Yeah, we beat him.
And there's, I don't think they did like the Marvel-esque, like, there's more coming.
We'll get to the ending of this movie when it comes to Marvel endings, but yeah, so he's kind of one of our antagonists, and the other one is the Red Queen reveals, and you see Albert Wesker's hiding in the hive, and he's just like chilling and drinking whiskey and shit. And Wesker, we live for it. We love seeing him. I'm so excited for when she gets down into the hive from the first movie and gets to fight Wesker. Spoiler alert. Wesker doesn't exactly get the best climactic ending for his character.
Wesker gets to do more when he's in a control room away from all of our characters. The very first scene he gets with everyone else, he is immediately handicapped and thrown away. And I'm very sad.
In fact, I will say, I think the reason this movie made me so angry is because I was going in... Well, I guess not angry. The reason this movie kind of angered me was I was going in expecting this is going to be the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And in fact, when it was them going into the hive and Wesker was saying, "Oh, I'm purposely controlling the security," so you can read like malevolence into what he's doing.
Yeah.
That was fun. That's when I started to enjoy myself more. There was like the hammy Ian Glenn bits that were pretty fun, but it was when Wesker was controlling the security systems and purposely letting you watch someone fall, then slowly raising it back, like the panel back up and shoving you in the side of the tunnel. That stuff was fun. Because
there's a cut of this movie where they don't have any of that, where it's just, oh no, we've tripped the automated traps in this place, and it's like, no, That feels a little personal, you know.
I like that he's just there's a few shots of him smugly grinning when Ruby Rose goes into the blender.
Yeah.
That's like that's good.
Yeah, and you know, good on him. I'm glad he's having fun.
But he kind of gets cucked, and then Albert Wesker, you're fired. They thought that was the cool.
Well, you know, when did the RoboCop remake come out? That it was on their mind, or maybe that was just something.
Wasn't that 2014?
That's what I want to say.
I think it came out before this.
It could be that. I also don't know if that one does the "you're fired, and now I can kill you" kind of thing. But it could also just be. There's layers of hackery, right? Where it's taking what is currently popular, but also stealing from classic iconography. Yeah. So like the RoboCop thing, like that's a classic where you know where it's like, oh, this is how you beat the bad guy.
I will say at the very least they didn't show a flashback to I cannot harm Umbrella personnel before he was fired, because that would have been like, we get it, like we understand.
Yeah, no, it
for what it was.
Yeah, it didn't insult your intelligence too much with that one. Where,
aside from Wesker just getting his foot smashed, and he's like, oh.
Yeah, it was quick enough where I was still registering. I was like, wait, what? Oh, okay. So you were able to chop off his foot because he's fired. And
then they do the Terminator 2 thing of you have to hold on to the. Well, no, I'm forgetting the reference. But it's you have to hold on to the detonator or it's going to blow up. I'm trying to remember what action movie that's from.
I mean, that's kind of Terminator 2, but it's him being like, once I push this button, you die. And then he dies and then does it. But I guess, you know.
Aryan Agent Smith couldn't hold it too long.
No.
Unfortunately.
No, he has to die in front of old as fuck Mila Jovovich.
Yeah. The way this movie in the prologue says, he had a daughter, she was sick and aged, and then almost no, I guess that's the final chapter, so there's been the buildup of Alice having amnesia and stuff.
Sure.
But just the series of twists that occur, the time span is just so, there's no time to process any of this. It's just, I'm not a clone. You're lying. Well, here she is. Okay. And then just the climax happens. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's... and that's how each of the twists kind of feel, where, you know, she has her confrontation with Ian Glenn. He's like, I killed you. No, I killed your clone. And it's like, where did your mind go that made you realize that? And why was that not on your mind back when you killed him?
Right.
Okay, and then with that, it's like, oh, you're a clone. We don't have time to draw this out. Like, we can't hit 2 hours with this.
It's hilarious how we can't let this go for 2 hours.
No.
It's hilarious how they have a character who goes, oh no, you killed my clone, and then it's like, but he's a clone. So we did the double clone twist in the same movie.
Well, we did the triple where you know, it's like, I killed you. No, you killed my clone. No, your clone killed my clone.
Your clone killed my clone.
You're a clone.
Okay.
It's almost parody at that point. Like, it's so like, just
also how, because we're jumping around, because the side characters are almost I know you haven't seen like Ali Larder aside from in Heroes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
she's one of the only characters who shows up. Because, of course, Leon died off screen and all these other characters died off screen. And it's like, what a waste.
Yeah, well, and that was, as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh no. You didn't, I hoped you did something else besides Heroes. Unfortunately, it's just Resident Evil.
Adrian Pasdar didn't do Resident Evil, that's for sure.
No, he did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But,
well...
Oh god.
But also the other thing of, when I release the antivirus, I have the T-virus in me, so I'm gonna die. And then the end of the movie is just like, no. It was so lame. Like, if this movie, the final chapter, had actually had Alice sacrifice herself to like save the world, I'm not saying the movie would be good, but at least that might be something to cling on to in the final moments. But the movie instead just goes, it's going to take time for the virus to spread, so there's still bats chasing me. It's like, that's not an ending. This is not conclusive. This is not a final chapter.
Yeah, there's just... there's no catharsis from it.
Not a lick.
And maybe, and you know, granted, again, didn't see the first 5. I don't give a shit. If I was supposed to really, really care about Mila Jovovich, you know, I cared as much as I could, I assure you. But yeah, the whole thing was predicated on, I'm gonna die because I've got the T virus, and I'm like, hey.
It's so funny to me how this came out a year before Logan, and it's kind of in a weird way. I'm not saying like directly. I am saying that it is amazing to look at 2 different projects that have implicitly the same premise. Okay, the hero has to do something before they die.
Yeah.
And we all know that they're going to die at the end of this.
Yeah.
But you have one where the inevitability creates such catharsis by the end, and then you have one where they just go, no, it isn't. And then you go, it was hard for me to care before when I thought she was going to die.
Yeah, and I will be very, very curious to see what the continuity is like in the films beforehand. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the stuff we talked about, the sudden reveals and the twists and everything, was to prepare you that there's not really any rules. We can do whatever the fuck we want. And it's like, well,
death doesn't matter. There can be clones.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, I don't know if like halfway through filming someone like went up to Paul W. Anderson and was like, hey, projections say that like this film might be profitable, and they're like, oh, maybe we don't want to close the door all the way.
So as far as I understand, to spoil you, Paul W. Anderson has revealed that every single movie was always written without knowing if they would get to do another one. Each movie was predicated on the last one making money. There was like a vague long-term plan for like 4, 5, and 6.
Sure.
But 6 got altered and took 2 more years than the rest of them took, and but yeah, you really get that sense of, it just feels like you're like, maybe it's called the final chapter, but maybe that's just to get you in the theater, and I'll make another one if this one is well received, you know.
I mean,
that's
hey,
the sense it has.
It worked for Saw, so I guess, you know.
It did. But thankfully, well, I don't know. Jigsaw's kind of a reboot, somewhat. But yeah, then they actually did reboot it after this, and then that series didn't even get past 1 movie, and now they're rebooting it again with Zach Kreger.
Yeah, so we can go over it more whenever I get to it. But since you have just recently watched,
I did.
Welcome to Raccoon City.
Yeah.
How is that compared to
way better. I feel bad because like Welcome to Raccoon City is actually pretty good for like the first half.
Sure.
I think in the first half it sets up like a much more compelling tone.
Sure.
It's the filmmaking is more focused on the cinematography is nicer than this movie.
Okay.
The scale is kind of toned down, so it's less wackadoodle. Towards the end, it gets pretty ridiculous, dumb.
Good. I
kind of feel bad that I gave it 2 stars, but I mean, like Welcome to Raccoon City, it definitely at the end is like, it has a post credits Marvel stinger. This is bad.
Yeah, because it's 2021. Trying to is that one kind of taking the same approach as the Paul W. Anderson series, where we're going to take the iconography of Resident Evil, but really.
No,
is it much more?
Welcome to Raccoon City tries to adapt the first 2 games as one story. It's kind of a mistake. They like cram everything together, and there's no. That's kind of the problem. Is like the first half, you're like, okay, they're kind of balancing both 1 and 2 pretty nice, and then in the second half of the movie, it's like, this is a mess. Like this is just not working. There's no catharsis here. You know?
I never, and you know, granted, I'm not familiar enough with the games. I don't know if their plots could be kind of threadbare. I don't know. But anytime it's like, we're adapting this series, but we're putting multiple entries in one. It's like, well, hold on. Are you going to be able to pace this out? Okay, like, because in theory, you know, not that this is the case for every story, and especially for video games, but typically 3-act structure kind of reigns supreme. So when you have 2 entries, you get two mini 3-act structures jammed together.
So yeah, Welcome to Raccoon City definitely feels like you get 1.5 movies, and it's like you get 0.8 of a movie and then another half of a movie. It's like, oof.
Yeah.
That does not feel good.
So I know part of this retrospective for you, a small part at least, was brought on by the fact that is it the director of Weapons?
Yeah, the writer and director of Weapons is handling the new Resident, which is supposed to come out this year, but there's no previews yet. So
yeah, that's I wonder if it's premiering at film festivals
possibly.
First?
But given it's probably going for a smaller scale.
Yeah.
I imagine, this is my prediction, is Zach Kreger is going to... He might do what he did with Weapons, where it's the multiple POVs.
Sure.
But I also find it likely that he might follow one group of people during an outbreak.
Sure.
And it's more personal.
Well, because we don't have... there's no preview. I don't think there's any, particular details on characters or so
there's some cast members, and then Kreger basically just said I'm trying to capture that feeling when you first run into the zombie in Resident Evil, or when you first have the zombie dog jump through the window, that feeling of ominous dread.
Okay.
So that's really what he's aiming for. I think he's more aiming to legitimize the brand than anything, right?
I could see
Resident Evil can make a good movie. A really good movie.
Listen, because I know the games are beloved. I would assume there's not a lot of cross-pollination between fans of the films and fans of the games. I don't know. I'm sure there are. There's always going to be that one group where it's you slap the label on and they're
Resident Evil fans will watch everything and they'll hate it all. They're just you didn't get anything right. It's hard to argue.
There's a strength to that. That was me with Star Wars for a little bit.
For real.
But so I'm curious. I'm not terribly familiar with the games. I think I remember you have two different POVs, I think, where it's one half of a campaign and the other.
As far as I'm aware, in the first 3 games, it's always 2 POVs.
Okay. So that could lend itself well to his style.
Yeah. Does Barbarian do that at all?
A little bit, not as it's much more what's the best way to say it? It's Act 1 is this POV, Act 2 is this POV, Act 3 is this POV. Gotcha. So it's not as intercut as Weapons was. Yeah. So might be going. Again, if I don't know if he's going straight up for one of the games.
I don't think he is.
I'd be surprised.
There's not, unless it's a surprise where the trailer comes out, it's Leon Kennedy's,
Because I don't think, again, maybe you have a more insight into this, but my understanding is that the games aren't super one after the other story. I think 2 and 4 are more connected than So
it's kind of a POV. As far as I understand, 3 kind of takes place before and during 2.
Okay.
And then after 2. And then 4 so 2 and 4 have Leon. I think Leon might be in. He's the main character of 2 and 4. Yeah. And then Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine are the POV in 1 and 3.
Okay.
But it's interesting. The animated movie I just watched, Death Island, is the first time you get all the main protagonists.
Yeah.
It's the Avengers.
Yeah.
It's I get to see all of them in the same. So that's the joy of that. But back to the final chapter.
Yeah.
So I mentioned how there was a moment in the movie where Wesker was manipulating the hive that I was okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
And then they have the moment where it's a little fan servicey, but there's not too much of it, where she is in the laser grid hallway and it's remember the first movie, how great that scene.
Yeah.
And then she goes through, and later we get a bit where she's fighting the real Dr. Isaacs in the hallway, and she gets her fingers sliced off in the fight, and she sets off a grenade that hits him, and he's oh god. Yeah. And for some reason we don't use the laser grid to kill Dr. Isaacs, even though that would be the best reference to the first movie, is you see, we went back to that death trap and the main villain gets killed with it.
See, it's so frustrating because it feels like it's building up to it.
Yes, it does.
Because it does its stupid sequence where it gets more and more complex. I don't know why it doesn't just go straight for the cheese grater, but whatever.
Yes.
And then it stops for a little bit to allow him to come in, and it's like, okay, now they're both in the laser trap. So eventually, then it starts up again, but it only goes like one or two more times. Yeah. And then he gets exploded, and it's like, oh, well, he's dead. But then he starts getting back up, and it's like, so now you do.
No.
And it's just like...
So then somehow it jump cuts, and he's on the... See, the funny thing is earlier, when Clone Isaacs was in the tank, and he was underground, you were like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Before they revealed that he was like a clone. You're like, how did he get down here? But then later the movie does jump cut and have him just appear on the surface, so it's not as if that's inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's not as if that was like hinting to you, oh no, he's a clone, it's not really him.
Yeah.
It does commit the sin of him popping up, and then the other Isaacs has just somehow survived up there, and he's there. And
yeah.
Like,
also, even more ripping off Terminator Salvation. The original Dr. Isaacs has been cybernetically enhanced to be an ultimate combat killing machine.
The Sherlock Holmes scene.
Yeah, so there's a sequence where Mila Jovovich is in a bind amidst all the villains, and she kind of starts planning out potential attack formations using a whiskey bar. And then Ian Glenn's like, oh, I don't think so. I actually can see everything that you're going to do, and I know that I can counteract each one. So it's like, oh, shit. Like, that's really... And then, they do start fighting, and he pretty easily overwhelms them each time. And then he always, the classic killing machine that was very systematically counteracting everything. And then when it's their turn, throw them. And it's like, well... Yeah. I think after, like... the fourth or fifth, you could probably just snap her neck at that point. Like, I think you kind of strut your stuff.
It is kind of strange because like there's it's so strange because there's the bit where Clone Isaacs earlier got his hand chopped off, and then you have the delay like, oh
yeah.
And then there's a bit where he's in the tank and he's getting his wounds just like, oh Jesus, and that became the meme, of course.
Yeah.
And then later he chops off her fingers. The real Isaacs, it's like, is that supposed to be dramatic irony but that wasn't him that lost his hand, and he doesn't like know about that.
Well, I also don't understand why she tricked him. She did the three fingers like look, and he
lost the game.
Yeah, he lost the game, and so he was so enraged that he chopped off her finger.
She did the OK sign too many times.
Yeah.
And then she uses that to Sherlock Holmes. You can tell that Paul Davis Anderson is like, oh, I love those Guy Ritchie we're gonna do those quick cuts. And and the funniest part is the rest of the editing never does like the I understand that you have to portray the envisioning the future stuff differently.
Sure, yeah.
But the movie never used it before that scene. And then later with I actually snuck into your coat and opened and set the grenade off. It's the only time they do that. So it's very clearly he was like, I'm homaging the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies.
Yeah. Well, because it's so weird how, like, there's I guess there's a teeny tiny bit for the grenade, because there's one shot where she like sees it. I couldn't tell what it was. I was like, oh, I see the umbrella logo.
I thought it was like his so I thought for some reason that they were gonna say, oh, the umbrella employees have to have like this cufflink, because I thought it was like his cufflink.
That's what it looked like to me too.
Is she gonna take that and say, I'm an umbrella employee so the lasers can't hit me or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But instead, it's like, oh no, I saw that you had a grenade hidden in your pants, so I took it.
Which was never set up before the hallway. He never used any grenades.
No. And then
it didn't even kill him.
Well, and even worse is when she disarms Trader Man, who there's no setup at all for him being the traitor. There's no intrigue because they don't spend any time on these supporting characters.
I didn't know his name.
Yeah,
he was just the guy who was sleeping with Claire.
Yeah, she has like one line where he's like, "Hey, we're a thing." She's like,
"Okay,
cool."
Anyway,
yeah. But yeah, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, when you got this gun, I took out all the ammunition." And it's like, I didn't see a single solitary frame where you looked suspicious at all.
No.
He also popped up out of nowhere, so it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know how much any of this matters because you didn't bother to edit it competently.
Yeah, like the way he pops up after the giant zombie guy.
Yeah.
I thought that was just the movie being lazy and, it's a jump scare. But no, in fact, that was a hint that he was allowed free access to the facility.
Yeah.
But because of the way the movie's constructed, you think it's just dumb, but actually it's a different dumb.
It's one of those things where I don't know. I'm inclined to think that they're just dumb in making it, but I'm going to give them a 12% chance that they know how dumb all of this is, so they hid one thing in there that was like, no, this was actually set up, but you thought it was dumb because of all this other dumb stuff we did.
Yeah, it's identical to all this other dumb stuff we did.
Yeah.
But in fact, it actually was intentionally a red herring.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, it's the... And again, this is all me reading into it. Maybe they were just dumb. That seems more likely to me. But it's the weird. But if not, then it's the weird lamp shading thing where it's like, oh yeah, I see all these flaws in my writing, but I'm acknowledging them, so it's fine. And it's like,
I think it might be more of that because my memory is that even though they're not necessarily like good movies, I do think that a couple of the movies that he does, because Paul W.S. produces all of them, but he doesn't direct two of them.
Yeah.
But a couple of the ones he directs, there is like a sense that he does have themes he's exploring, but that is overridden by it. But this is so cool. So I mean, I think he is like smart enough to know that this was just schlock. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, it's we don't have time. I don't have time to write it anymore and fix this. We got to shoot this piece of shit and get it out and make some money.
I will say that this. I mean, we haven't gone back through. But I will say this one to me felt the most like slap this together. Let's get this done.
Yeah. It was kind of miserable. There's definitely a lot of goofy schlocky fun.
There is. There's a few great shots like the reveal of the zombies running after the tank.
Yeah.
That's a great shot, I'll say. The fire coming down the tower, that looked really good.
Yeah, silly, but good.
Well, they were shooting catapults at them.
The shot of the flaming barrel being catapulted and missing the survivor by an inch to kill everything that was behind her and not her was great.
And then later the explosion does knock them a distance, so it's like,
Yep.
How does that work?
Well, yeah. But, it was an interesting mix of every now and then a shot that had some artistry to its composition. Mostly B-movie schlock mixed with this kind of upsets me as someone with insight into filmmaking, where it's like, I know that what we're seeing is the laziest version of what we could have done with this. So
for sure that how fitting for the final chapter.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I avoided it for 10 years, and unfortunately, you can't run forever, I guess.
This is fitting because like I said earlier, I don't think I ever actually got to the last two Underworld movies where it becomes post-apocalypse. So I guess this is my punishment. Instead, I'm going to go through Resident Evil in reverse order.
Yeah, that's the thing is I wonder, the funniest part is going to be if you reach a movie going backwards, you're like, oh, I actually really liked this one. And then it's like, but in a different way from when you're like, oh, the next, like, the degradation of sequels It might be just you're going, oh, that was a fluke. For some reason, that one had the right mixture of things, and they didn't find it before now, but I don't know if they did. Maybe they did, but...
Yeah, well, I could also easily see it being, I will enjoy one of them on first viewing, and then years later I'll be like, I remember this being one of the good ones, and watching it again and being like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, it sucks.
Yeah, the thing was, is I remember the first Resident Evil being like, so mentally I was going, this is probably like a 3-star.
Sure.
And then I watched it and I was like, the first 20 minutes of this are great.
Yeah.
You know, like the rest of it is decent.
Sure.
But, yeah, that's because I was like, oh, maybe I'll watch the first one and I'll be like, wow, that first one's actually pretty good. And it is, I suppose, like compared to the final chapter, it's a masterpiece.
Oh, yeah.
But, now I'm wondering if maybe the weirdo middle ones might hold the right mixture where it's so schlocky that it's really good, actually.
I'm going to make a prediction that whichever ones were not directed by Paul W.S. Anderson may have the potential to be the best of the series. So
controversial, but you might be right.
You know, we'll see.
Okay, any final thoughts on Resident Evil, the final chapter? But Mila Jovovich's Alice is still alive, so don't worry.
Yeah. What was the Resident Evil?
Well,
is it the T-virus? Is that...
In this movie, I don't think there's a residence.
No.
I guess the Hive is like a secret residence.
I guess so.
Because originally it was under a mansion, so it's like it should have been called the Tomb Evil.
I could see it.
Or Underground
Evil.
I could see it. Labyrinth Evil.
I don't know if I could say that it is... Well, I guess it's not an evil residence. It's Resident Evil.
Right.
So it's evil that has made its home somewhere.
Let me tell you, this evil is not homeless.
No, it's. I mean, I guess it's the planet. I guess.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know if you can call a virus evil. It's just doing its thing.
But it was released by selfish rich people.
That's true.
The evil. The real evil is not the T virus because it was used to help a child. It's actually.
So is Ian Glenn the Resident Evil?
I think he is.
He's taken up residency.
No, I think it's Wesker because he has he has his like whiskey bar, and he's like chilling and reclining in his. So he has a residence.
He's clearly more at home.
Yeah,
I think Ian Glenn is still in business mode.
Yeah, he's just he woke up from the cryosleep and he's viewing it as like an office. But
yeah,
Wesker's like, I view this as my home. So I think he's the Resident Evil.
What a way for it to go.
Reverse the polarity of the turbine. I'm excited for more Wesker. Yeah, the final chapter sucks. I mean, the worst part is that it didn't have to. I was expecting it to be purely terrible, and the moments where it wasn't made it worse because I was like, wow, I was enjoying it for 10 seconds. I was enjoying it for 2 minutes.
You know, if it had come out another year or two later where it could have really aped Logan, I think there's room for that kind of story. I had a moment where I was petrified that there was going to be some sort of patching of the torch from Mila Jovovich to Ruby Rose and being like, you will be the new savior.
It will be.
And
when it's a woman.
Yeah. And then she goes into the blender, and I'm like, thank you, Wesker. Thank you so much.
Smug smile.
That's, you know.
If I was rating this, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can in good conscience rate this above like a 1.5 stars, like maybe a 1. I mean, because maybe like objectively in some ways it's a 2, but
well, see, I was gonna say
but not really.
I think the unique experience of being able to rip into it with your friends made it
more fun.
Made it like a 2
if I had to watch this on my own.
It'd be a 1 star. It might be a half star depending on my mood.
Yeah,
but I think.
But you think that if you can watch it with some buddies,
I think you can hit a 2. Because it's like it's like watching the wavelengths on this recording where like some it goes higher and lower where
right.
sometimes you cut off Ian Glenn's hand and he goes and that's like a 4 and then it like settles back into like a 1 and so.
I see that it's not entirely without merit. It's just I think maybe watching in reverse order is for its betterment because now you don't have the entire buildup of 5 movies riding on it. So
it's true because I think I would have, based on my impression of this first movie, and because I know fans of the series hate this one because like you ruined everything that came before and like we were so invested. I think I'd have the opposite problem where I'm like I'm so frustrated that I've watched through 5 pieces of shit that I don't care about.
Aren't you glad we're not marathoning it? Isn't that great?
Yeah, no, this is gonna take like a year to get through this series.
I was optimistically gonna say we can get through like maybe one every month or 2.
I was gonna say probably monthly. Yeah,
just do one a month. It's not too much.
I can do that.
Okay.
I'll watch plenty of good stuff in between, so it's fine.
Exactly. And then when you finish the 6, then you can watch Welcome to Raccoon City, and then you'll be prepped for Zach Kreger. I mean, that's right. If you don't want to watch the animated stuff, but that's not.
I'd have to play the games before I watch the animated stuff.
True.
So
I can't
play the games.
You can't play the games.
Yeah.
But you'll commit to at least getting to Welcome to Raccoon City?
I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that so that I can appreciate the Zach Kreger's version and be like, finally. Finally
that movie's going to get 5 stars after you've seen all these. You're like, wow, in comparison, this is 5 stars. I mean.
Well, again, because I quite liked Barbarian, and I think that Weapons was even better. So if he maintains his trajectory.
I gave Weapons a 4 out of 5.
I forget what I get. I want to say 4.5.
You gave 4.5.
Yeah. And I think I gave Weapons 4.5 and Barbarian like 4. So he does quality work. I'm curious to see what he can do.
He's a good choice. I think he's a good choice. Right, the baggage. Yeah, fresh, clean slate.
Wipe it all.
So yeah, that was the final chapter, the first entry in the Resident Evil retrospective. We'll cover Retribution probably in a month, but
can't wait to see Leon.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, and just wait till you find out who's in part 4. It's one of your old favorites. It's someone else from TV that you will know quite well.
Oh boy, I will endeavor not to look it up and
don't look it up. So please don't look anything up because yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Nathan. You made a lovely sacrifice on my behalf. And at worst comes to worst, it's another notch on Letterboxd. So
that's quite literally all I could ask for.
Paul W. Sanderson, you got me 6 more entries for Letterboxd. Thanks, brother. Dude, yeah. It's so funny how I don't even know if he's doing anything anymore.
I hope not. I didn't know he was still alive. But
one last thing. It was really funny how my perspective on AVP, the first one is, it's not great, but it's like enjoyable enough. And then you watch it, you're like, wow, this is literally worse than probably Alien Resurrection. It's like, oh shit.
It's putrid. But he's the one saying that it's all canon when James Cameron's trying to be a coward. Or Ridley Scott, rather.
Ridley Scott is being a coward.
And saying, no.
Finish your trilogy, then you can tell me what's canon.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's all or nothing, babe.